I am constantly amazed, like it will never stop interesting me, how Mario Land starts at the pyramids. It makes me think of how the 90s were such an age of pyramid occultism and interest in civilizations with mysteries to them, as shows like The X-Files should show, or the fact that Atlantis stuff was prevalent, etc. There's a certain type of stuff, like New Age it was called, I guess, which is interested in this, and I've spoken about this in the past, but why not again? This civilizational stuff is interesting because it feels as if it must have its roots in a desire to find lands that are not ours and find some mystery there, of course backed by colonial expansion and such. Stories like Indiana Jones and others seem to rely on a certain literature probably prevalent back then, at the, I guess, 19th century. I see that coincides with the Second Industrial Revolution too. Okay, so we're talking about Mario Land. I do want to remember that. But this New Age interest in revival of past stuff, civilizations that are not industrial, I guess is the theme. It's as if these civilizations then become icons for something in the unconscious. They almost stop being real places in the minds of artists who recreate these places, like the pyramids in their stories. And somehow, as this process gets more and more spiritualized, we start talking not only of civilizations, but of aliens, angels, and such. Therefore, we begin talking about images in general, and Mario Land as an icon of images as a video game is something that adopts this trend. Also, it feels to me that another interest in these sorts of religious temples of the past becomes its own geometry, as is to say, the interest in geometry seems to be present. In an interest in New Age stuff and occultism, there is often a desire to graph things out into perfect geometries, pretty geometries. There is an artistic impulse. So, for example, pyramids are a perfect pyramid in mathematical terms, and even the Easter Island statues are statues, so therefore artistic objects carved into a shape. What is important seems to be the shape of a mask, the shape of a certain dance, the patterns it weaves, and of course into the spiritual stuff. UFOs are shapes, as are Atlantis imagined, or crop circles, hieroglyphs in ancient languages. Totem poles are stacks of shapes, one after another. Basically, it seems to be a desire to see visual pattern arranged before one's eyes. The desire of Indiana Jones almost doesn't seem to be to gain money, even though that's probably behind there, but there is some desire for shapes, encountering shapes.